Hello, I'm Harold Metzel, founder of 10 Talent Stewardship, where we show you how to develop more robust stewardship. You've certainly heard of Peter Drucker, right? The world's management guru. But did you know what his primary interest was, what interested him the most? It was religion and charitable organizations. Someone asked him, after a lifetime of studying management, why are you now turning your attention to the church? And he replied, it's actually the other way around. I became interested in management because of my interest in religion and institutions. I started out teaching religion, he said, and all of my personal experience in management has been with nonprofits. Most everyone thinks of the word management as referring to business management. Well, do I teach these people about fundraising? No, he said. I don't know a thing about fundraising. But for 35 years, I've been teaching them management. Wow. Now here's a man whose primary interest matches yours and mine. A man considered a guru in teaching leadership. A man who spent much of his last 25 years advising pastors of large churches, megachurches. So what can we learn from him? Well, among many principles, he taught that we should focus on what's important, not the urgent. Now, of course, we've all heard that. But how can we get clear about its application? And he had a tip. One of the ways he applied it, he said, is to study and learn from those who are handicapped, because those men and women are forced to be realistic. They have to focus on their limitation, identify what they can and cannot do, and then apportion their energy to the activities that are truly important. Can you do that? I mean, imagine yourself in such a condition. What would you focus on if your time was cut in half? Or your ability to speak? Or to get around? Being an executive, he said, means having no time. It means that everybody moves in on your time. Everybody wants time from you. There's always more work to be done than there are hours in a day. And everything always takes so much longer than it should. There's a difference, he said, in the way effective executives use their time and in the way that most of us do. Now, each of us, of course, is limited, not only by the hours in a day, but also by the amount of energy that we have in reserve. And that reserve quota changes for many reasons, maybe by the scope of how much there is to manage. Your church grows, ministries expand. He told also about how he had to change priorities as he aged. And so he began working with his wife Doris on limiting his schedule, one that would be both reasonable and realistic. And by doing this, he stayed active until his death at the age of 96. Carefully thinking through what was important and saying no to many opportunities. He said, if I look back, my greatest frustrations are probably that I have, far too often, made the urgent rather than the important my priority. Some of the books that I should have written, I haven't written. I've written the books that were needed at the moment, rather than the things that were needed 5 years since. I've been willing to run shorter rather than long term. But, he said, again, that's hindsight. Are you running short term rather than long term? The question is, what will remain when you're finished with your busyness? Or age begins to slow you down. A foundational teaching at 10 Talent Stewardship is the importance of investing in and building things that last. And possibly the most important resource to ensure that is an endowment fund. Do you have one? Think about it. Week after week, year after year, people partner with you in spreading the gospel, in building the kingdom of God. But will what you are building last? After you and all of those faithful people have gone on to be with the Lord, what will remain? How long will it remain? Every major university that has endured for over a century did so not through tuition or current gifts alone, but because of endowment giving, deferred giving, planned giving. And you can begin putting that substructure into place now. And I agree with you, that's not urgent, just very, very important. So do this, subscribe to our blog, follow along, especially because later in the spring we'll be offering a new resource, a step-by-step program called Legacy Academy, to help your stewardship team develop deferred giving, securing those ministries that you and your members are now investing in. So I'd like for you to appoint a key volunteer or staff member to stay alert about this. Follow the blogs. Look into what you can do to get started. Why? It may not be urgent, but it may be one of the most important things that you can do.